Hey folks, my name is Pravus and welcome to more Extinction Day with our Cataclysmic Difficulty Guide series for every disaster in the game. And now we get to move on to something pretty different, Warfare, which is the entirety of Chapter 2. Seriously, all four missions are pretty much the same. There are a few modifiers to change up the game a little bit, but once you understand this once, you'll get it pretty much every time. So Warfare is different because it does not spread like a conventional disaster. There is no energy to worry about. Instead, there's a unique currency called blood we have to farm out, and we'll be using that to justify spreading the conflict. You'll see. For Cataclysmic difficulty, I do still recommend going for free enhancements, influenced, passive damage, and conflict plus this time around for the extra ability damage. For your fifth perk, you have a few different options. Weaker Humans is good if you're trying to go really fast for a time challenge. Otherwise, you could go for XP. I don't think that Quick Start is a bad choice in this case because some early souls does speed things up a bit. So that's what I'm going to go with this time. And let's get started. Now, I never really talked about why I choose the starting locations I do in the game, and someone brought that up in the Discord. One thing I did mention is that every region in the world does have different demographics. So if we're playing as the Storm, a very large coastal population is pretty attractive because we do extra damage there. But the other thing that you have to keep in mind is the alertness level. Some regions of the world are more sensitive to disasters than others, and the humans will react faster. So that's going to be places like China, Europe, North America, basically the richer places in the world. The poor regions of the world have low alertness, and that's going to be India, anywhere in Africa, and anywhere in South America. So I usually prefer going to a low alertness area, which is why India is an easy go-to pick for a lot of cases. That said, the other thing you want to keep in mind is how many souls are natively in a region. So starting in South America is probably not as attractive as starting in India because there simply isn't as much to farm in the early game. West Africa is actually a very good compromise. The alertness seems to be even lower than India. It doesn't say that, but my experience seems to think that it's even slower here. Plus, it's in a position to branch out into the two different sides of the world pretty easily. So if you're worried about not being able to get into North and South America, well, then this is fine, and then you'll just spread across all of Europe and Asia and so on. So I'm going to go ahead and play in West Africa this time, but before we even get started, let's go for our normal setup of influence abilities. I need to have the cheaper upgrades for us. Then we'll go for Warfare, and I'll go ahead and place this sucker down. For your enhancers, I recommend Resource Boost, maybe Accelerated Harvest this time around, just to kind of speed things up a little bit. You won't need this in most regions. Beyond that, you don't care about energy efficiency. You probably don't need Rapid Spread, so it's just going to be about amplified damage and maybe an area increase, which is what I'm going to go for this time. We'll start harvesting out the influence, and for our disasters, the first thing I want to pick up is Increased Troops. What's going to happen is some people are going to get airdropped over here, and they're just going to start shooting at people just randomly. Like, there's absolutely no concern about the civilian population over here. We want to build that up as much as possible. But there's a problem. You see, we have a decent number of souls, but I can't spend it on a lot of things because we need this extra currency. Blood. Blood is going to start building up naturally as people start to die in all these different regions. You can see that happening right down here. So the goal becomes to build up as much blood generation as possible. The other thing about blood is you need it to expand into regions, not energy. And every new region you spread into is going to make the next one more expensive. So you need a ton of blood on Cataclysmic difficulty. This is why once you grab your first level of increased troops, and if you started with more souls, maybe go ahead and pick up a second level. After that, I don't recommend picking up anything here until you get more hatred. This is going to cost you some blood right up front, 450 in my case, but it's going to increase the amount of blood that is earned. Picking these up first is kind of your top priority because it's really, really helpful to have lots of blood generating early on. You want the most value per kill you can possibly get. So even though I've got all these souls sitting around, we're gonna do nothing with them. And yeah, I know that feels kind of bad, but until we get some blood, it doesn't really matter. That said, starting with these souls is going to make my life easier, I promise. So trust me, it's worth it. We now have enough blood to get the first level. We'll do that. We need to get some more blood, but that's going to increase the speed a little bit. So there you go. You can imagine then the more regions you spread to in the world and the faster you'll be able to start generating blood, the easier it's going to be to ramp out of control. Like, that's the entire point of playing with the military. But at some point, the cost of spreading into different regions is going to be something like 36 to 40,000 blood. And it's going to stay that way for the rest of them. So winning this game with just Warfare is actually a little bit tough. You might have to rely on getting like a special active ability, and we'll talk about that in just a bit. We do have plenty of alertness building up, but it's a little bit slower in West Africa, so we got some time. I'll go ahead and grab all 3 of these, even though I don't necessarily need them right now. That's mostly just to make sure I don't forget. Then I'm going to swap over to souls for auto collect, because the faster I get things rolling for our blood generation, definitely the better. So I want a little bit of help there with 1 or 2 more resource drops. That would be nice if you just don't, if you want to give me one like right now, that'd be great. No? No, you don't want to give me a... Okay, fine. It's fine. There it is. Let's go ahead and grab the last level of hatred. Okay, once you've got this, you have 50% more blood increase. That's great. So the next we want to do is grab 1 level of political instability, which is good in some of the poor, unstable regions. And the only reason we care about this is because it's going to lead to rapid escalation. A reduction in the blood expansion cost. This is going to make it cheaper for me to spread to other regions in the world by, well, 25%. That stacks up. That ends up being quite a lot of blood saved, so it is absolutely worth it. We have to have that before I get to my next region. In fact, I'm not going to expand at all. Though if I wanted to, let's just click on this and you can see, oh look, 4,000 blood. Yep, and next time it's going to be like, I don't know, 8, and then like 16, and then like whatever. You get the point. Like it gets a lot more expensive very, very quickly, so you need a lot of blood generation. We're very close to having our discount, which I think was at 12 points, so let's go ahead and pick that up. There we go. From here on out, you can do kind of whatever you want. If you continue focusing on paratroopers, that only costs souls. So this ends up being one of your cheapest options, but once you have enough souls and some extra blood to spare and you're in like 1 or 2 more regions, not a bad idea to go for things like tanks. This has a lot of splash damage, so you're going to generate blood very, very quickly. And then there's also battleships. Good for coastal areas, does a lot of damage, lots of splash damage. It's quite nice. Again, probably not enough to win the scenario outright, but it is helpful. I'm going to swap back over to our influence now because we have enough of our souls just to kind of kickstart things. Once we have enough blood, I'll immediately start spreading into more regions. Now, if you do want to play this with like the challenge where you have to beat the game with only warfare and nothing else, you can still do it. One thing is there are going to be some abilities here that expand the reach of this region. I think that's this special ability right here. Yeah, 250% increased coverage radius per territory, which basically means in West Africa, there'll be collateral damage in, let's say, Europe and stuff. If that's the strategy you're going for, then try to stick kind of to major regions of the world, like, let's say, around the equator, all right? So playing in Southeast Asia all the way through here to Africa and playing in places like Northern South America and stuff like that is kind of all you want to do. It saves you a lot of blood for not spreading into too many regions, but it might be a little bit tight, so just be aware of that. Let's go ahead and move over here into this region. Once again, a resource boost. I'll do an accelerated harvest and an area attack, just trying to get a little bit more souls to speed things along. With our influence, let's grab a boost in our damage and our attack size so we can hit up even faster. That means even more blood. And then I'll probably go ahead and pick up a tank since we should be able to afford it. Never mind, we need 1,800 blood. That's not going to take too long now that we're hitting another region, but it's fine. Humans are only just now starting to become vigilant. Yeah, if we had started in India, this would have already happened. So I think that's kind of proof positive to what I have been talking about before. Let's go ahead and grab, let's say, the trauma center for a critical hit chance. We could do some more damage, but I'm actually going to go for the energy. Now you might say, energy, why would you care about that? Energy isn't useful right now. You're kind of right, but it will be once we want to start using active abilities, and I absolutely will want to do that. They're very, very good. You'll see. Let's go for ground invasion. That's going to speed up our paratroopers. Then we want to go for demolition troops. Those guys are an active ability, kind of like the Storms had those special like triple tornadoes. Same basic idea here, except they're just going to do lots and lots of infantry splash damage, and it doesn't cost me any blood, so it's not going to slow down my expansion at all. So let's go ahead and pick that one up. Then I'm going to go ahead and move over here to, let's say, South America. This time I don't really care much about things like resource boost. There's not a lot to save. I'll just go ahead and grab area increases and stuff like that. And maybe a rapid spreader in this case, just so I can spread faster into North America if I wanted to. You never really know. It could be good. All right, do we want to go ahead and grab an upgrade for our tanks? Sure, why not? Let's just have them deploy and do even more damage, more attack size. I like that. We're already tapped out in souls here in West Africa. That's not a big deal. Notice that Spain is starting to get hit here, by the way. That's what I'm talking about. Collateral damage does happen, but it's not very reliable. That's where I want to make use of the special active abilities. And once I have a few more things purchased, we absolutely are going to do that. Now, you could go for things like some more poor damage or cold damage. I don't find that really to be useful. You could go for amplified strike, and this is going to boost up your area of effects pretty great. Like more damage, more area. I mean, it just means like the boosters we put here are just that much stronger, so you're going to be generating a heck of a lot more. which I do like. For extra influence here, let's go ahead and grab the weak prevention, which is going to decrease the energy cost for active abilities. I'll go ahead and preemptively grab the attack size as well. Not that it matters a lot. We do want to move into India probably next at 12,000 points. This time I will do a resource boost, but let's go for amplified damage and the area increase. That's all of my free enhancements done. But we're going to be doing a lot of damage over here for sure, so my souls are going to start building up very, very quickly. We might even find we're building up souls faster than I'm able to build up blood. Let's go for the battleships. That seems fine. I'll go ahead and upgrade the shells for our tanks once again. A bit more damage for our troops. So we're going to start killing very, very quickly over here. Very quickly. And again, you're going to get more souls you know what to do with, at which point it's not a bad idea to go ahead and grab the active ability. Airstrike is introduced in this chapter, and this is really good. In fact, I'd say it's probably my favorite. It's better than Asteroid even. You can have a couple of different types of planes that you use for airstrikes. That's something unique here. We can swap between two different abilities. They have different energy costs associated. The B-52 Stratofortress can be used more frequently. The B-21 Raider is a bit more effective, but a lot more expensive. I actually recommend you always go for the Stratofortress, which makes me hurt my heart a little bit because I love the B-21, but that's just what I recommend. The reason being, you're going to be able to get a lot of soul generation with things like Air Terror, plus you can do tons of splash collateral damage. The B-21 does have nukes, which is basically like having an asteroid, but I find this to be very, very reliable, very, very powerful. We absolutely want to make use of that. So to that extent, let's go ahead and grab the weak prevention so we can go for even cheaper stuff. They haven't even started working on the Ark yet, by the way, just so you understand how screwed humanity is. Let's grab Air Terror, which means we can do increased souls, and then let's go to, let's say Europe and use a quick bomber so you can see how this works. It's going to fly over, boom, boom, whoops, boom, boom, boom. There we go. 3 bombs, bunch of people injured or dead. Cool. And we generated a lot of extra souls as a result. I've got tons of blood that I'm sitting on too. Let's boost up Air Terror one more time, and I'm going to focus a lot on just trying to boost this up. We could try to spend some blood making this even cheaper. We're reducing the energy cost by like 15, so we can use this all the time now, and I absolutely think that we should, because you can use this to literally, I kid you not, kill entire continents basically by itself. So boom, 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 bada boom, look at that. That's pretty fun. Now we're going to go ahead and boost up its area attack size. Then we can go for splash damage. There is a bleed effect that can be introduced as well, which is really good. You get the idea. I like the B-52. It's just awesome. Let's go ahead and move up here into Moscow for our next region. We could go for the souls, but I don't think it's that useful. I'm just going to go ahead and grab things like the amplified damage and area increase. That should be enough to get me into the rest of Europe, so I don't even have to have spread over here, and we'll be completely fine. Now we just need to terminate all humans. So go boom, go boom, go boom. It doesn't really matter where I place it right now. I'm just kind of having a little bit of fun. Let's grab that splash damage like so. So now we have this extra area attack. Cool. So we hit large regions. I mean, I can definitely kill off like all of Australia with just one of these bombers. It's so stupidly good. It really is. I honestly kind of want to try playing this with nothing but bombers to see if I can actually win, because I'm kind of curious. I think maybe we could. Let's go ahead and spread into Buenos Aires, and I will get these abilities down over here. We could probably go for another couple of bombs. So this increases the number of bombs that gets dropped by your bomber, which we'll go ahead and take care of. Let's go ahead and just start burning down North America. For some reason, they're taking a long time for us to reach, which we can now. We have enough blood, so all right, I'll go ahead and spread into Los Angeles next. Amplified damage. This time I do think I'll go for the resource boost. It's enough to actually be worth a little bit of something. And then we'll just go ahead and start cleaning them out. I'm getting so many points right now, I'm starting not to keep up right now. That's a little bit of a problem, but okay. Yeah, bomber's good. 16 energy, it's all it's costing for me to use this too. So that's one of the reasons I like it better than the B-21. It's great. But now we're leaving behind poison gas, which means we're getting a bleed effect. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's all coming together. Let's go ahead and move into Southeast Asia. Resource boost, amplified damage, and area increase is fine. We are pretty much out of blood, but that's okay. We can still get some other upgrades, boosting up the damage of things like our battleships. Doesn't really matter what you pick up at this point. As long as you're doing lots of damage, who really cares? Everything is kind of viable at this point. It really is. You cannot reach, by the way, in South Africa, just from the area of effect, I think. So we're going to have to get down here. But again, this is where if you just want to use the bombers and you're allowed to do that for your playthrough, well, then that's pretty good. Sorry, I thought we had 19 points. I was wrong. Let's go ahead and grab the ground superiority. So we have that extra coverage radius. That's still pretty good. Look how much we burned down South Africa just from a couple of bombing runs, by the way. Oh, it's glorious. What can I say? It's glorious. We can boost that up further. We can go for even more area and effect and stuff like that. It's good. We got 50,000 blood that we can work with now. Do I want to move down over here? Sure, why not? But I don't even feel like I need to spend any points on these special abilities. We'll be okay here. What about up in North America? It looks like the East Coast is already almost done. A couple of bombing runs actually should be enough to finish this off, I think. Yeah, down to 10% and ticking down slowly. Pretty good, pretty good. Anything else that we care about here? I mean, sure, more area of effect and stuff like that is great. I don't know. It's easy. It's really, really, really easy to win this one once you have the bombers unlocked. It's just a matter of getting enough momentum going, and then you'll be fine. Let's help out with places like China. We have enough blood to go ahead and move here, so let's just do that. Amplify damage area effect. And I'm going to manually deal with Indonesia and Australia. Just finish them off. Look at that. We've already did like half their health and damage, and that took like no effort at all. New Zealand, you're next. Sorry. Boom. All right, that's fine. What about Papua New Guinea? Yeah, let's go ahead and take you out too. Oh, it sucks to be Australian. Yeah, I don't know. It's fine. They're already basically dead. And I think, is that everybody? Yep, that was everybody. The arc did not have a chance of getting completed. We beat this with pretty much no effort whatsoever. Now, like I said, some of these challenges are a little bit tougher than others. So, for example, there's the race to self-destruct. You have to terminate all humans in less than 2,000 days. Just doing what I showed you, this should be pretty doable. There's a task to do it even faster, actually. In that case, it doesn't really matter for things like if there's awareness or if you start in places like West Africa. Who cares? Because there is no arc. So you might as well start wherever there's a really high population and just go for as much blood as you possibly can, right? There's little things like that you have to adapt the playstyle to, but for the most part, if you use Warfare plus Airstrikes, this is going to be easy mode. This might be the easiest chapter in the entire game, in my opinion. Thank you all very much for watching. Hope you found this helpful. If so, I would ask you to hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, then notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.